Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life with Sterling Fox on AM 650.
It's all about seniors, independent communities on this episode of the program. We're talking with our guests from Shannon Oaks, where it's party time in just a couple of hours. Jillian Fullerton and Sharon Ginter are with us. It's the big summer carnival party this afternoon from 2 until 4. Shannon Oaks, by the way, at 2526 Waverly Avenue in East Vancouver, about a block or two from Killarney Senior Secondary there on 49th Avenue.
A block west.
Yeah, and if you haven't had a chance, if you've been listening to the programs and you've got something in your life that is causing you now, for the first time perhaps, to start considering the option of a seniors community. Maybe it's a parent, a relative, maybe it's you.
Yes.
And you know, one of the things, Jillian, that we've discovered with the conversations with you and others from Shannon and Oaks over the years is that a lot of people finally make the decision to go and live in a seniors community. And I emphasize and underline the word finally, only to their great surprise to arrive at a lifestyle that is thoroughly enjoyable, and then start sort of kicking themselves going, gosh, you know, I should have done this 5 years before I arrived.
Exactly. And that's, most of our residents will say that. I wish I had moved in sooner. And I, you know, there's nothing you can do about that, but I regret it too, because some people do wait too long and they no longer qualify.
Right.
And that's the sad part. They have to move from their home into what we were describing earlier.
A more complex
resident
environment.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, and where it's more hospital care.
Sure.
That's not, I mean, because we do have a standard. There's certain, you have to have a medical.
Oh, of course,
you know, you have a medical questionnaire for your doctor to fill out. And
how else can you be helpful if you don't know what the story is?
Exactly.
Right.
So that they have to have a certain health about them initially.
Sure.
They have to be able to live independently, basically. And so they can join in all the fun that Sharon creates, Sharon and Laura, and they do an amazing job of making sure that everything is just so much fun. And there's lots of choices, as we were saying, of different things to do. But come this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
From 2 to 4, just drop by, come and see us, just put your toe in the water and experience it just for a few moments. It's going to be out in our courtyard garden, and the courtyard's gorgeous, and there'll be all sorts of games. There'll be food, there'll be clowns, there'll be music, and our residents will be just loving it. So bring a friend along. Bring your daughter, bring your mother, you know, whomever, you know, come and see it. Put your toe in the water.
Particularly, I would think, Sharon, if that person in your life that you're thinking about with respect to a seniors community is being a little, shall we say, resistant, to be kind. And you know, what better opportunity to go and dispel some of those myths. The old folks' home, the terrible old Gothic place on the hill outside of town. Oh, you know, if you show up at Shannon Oaks in a couple hours' time this afternoon, it's anything but. It's almost the exact opposite.
Right.
It's a group of people who are having a great time.
Exactly.
And enjoying it with their family and friends who they've invited over to play with them.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's just getting people through the door. You know, it's amazing. Even my volunteers that will come in, they'll walk through the door and they just take a look and said, this is not what I expected.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing. And you come in today and you walk into their gardens, you really won't expect that.
Okay.
You'll just see laughter and excitement and fun. And I think it's really neat, too, for families to stand back and watch it, too, to watch that their you know, parent or their aunt or uncle, they don't need the family anymore right now.
Well,
they're busy.
Yeah, you know, it's a two-way street here, isn't it, Jillian?
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes it's the apprehension or the resistance of the parent. But in other cases, it's the oldest daughter who's been looking after mom in the basement suite for the last 2 or 3 years, and she's about burned out completely. But, you know, it works both ways. The children, and I'm talking about us baby boomers. Now, we're still some somebody's kids.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
right.
that. But we can imagine some of these the gothic old folks home images are not entirely limited to our parents. Many of us boomers have the same negative image in our minds and really need to have that expunged. We really need to get with the times.
Yeah.
It's summer 2014, folks. Those old folks homes are ancient history.
And one of the other myths is it's too expensive. We can't afford it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, that's right.
It's too much money. It's only for rich people.
Right.
That's not so. If we have, and when you come in, I will give it to you. We have a sheet. It's a comparison sheet. You compare with what you're paying now for your food, for your rent or mortgage, or if we have it, for your insurance, for all the repairs,
Condo
and maintenance,
fees, all of those
that.
little add-ons.
You
Yeah.
add them all up and add what you're paying and what's included in Shannon Oaks, and you're going, wow.
I
Right.
can afford it.
I can afford
Yeah.
it.
And
It's
you know,
not
it's
expensive.
funny. You know, my mom is pretty typical of her generation. She's 92. She grew up during the Depression with 10 brothers and sisters. They had absolutely nothing, and so she values money very highly. She doesn't just
Speaking about my father.
She hates debt and all of that stuff. So what in terms of the dollar figure attached to all of this, the key here is do the math, Jillian,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
despite the fact that you may be living in the same house that you and your husband built in the 70s and paid for in the 80s, you don't live in a vacuum. It still costs money in August 2014
Yeah.
just to get by. As you mentioned,
Yeah.
Jillian, all the utilities, the taxes, the
maintenance.
all of that stuff. And if you're bringing in outside care, the guy who cuts the lawn
Yeah.
every week, the
Yeah.
kid who
Right.
shovels the sidewalk in the winter,
Cleans the eaves.
all of that stuff
Yeah.
adds up. So surprise, surprise, even though your home is paid for, you still shell out X number of bucks
Yeah.
every month. You
Exactly.
compare that with what it costs to live at Shannon Oaks, and suddenly it's not apples to oranges. It's very real and frequently very close.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. And what you get in exchange for that is an activity coordinator who puts your life into such a wonderful realm of you meet new friends.
Sure.
You
No
have
cooking.
no cooking.
No cooking.
Good
That's right.
food.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that. Your housekeeping is done for you. You have bus trips you take. Sharon organizes some amazing bus trips. All of that is such fun, and it's a new life for them, and we encourage it.
Okay. Sharon, I think one of the most, and I'm imagining this, but I don't think I'm too far off the mark, one of the more rewarding parts of your job, particularly as the activities manager, must be watching people move into Shannon Oaks. You know, they've made the decision with perhaps some support from their family, but nonetheless, they've moved in. Now, in many cases, they're a little standoffish. It's like your first day at school.
That's right. Yeah.
And maybe they haven't been eating well. They're a little frail, using the walker.
Yeah.
Just barely sort of getting from room to room. And after just watching that new arrival connect with you and your crew that do all the activities, and watching that person really just sort of come into flower, as it were. They start eating better. The walker goes away.
Yeah.
They start getting out. They start mixing socially. And all of this stuff happens organically. You're not pushing anybody into anything. You're just giving them opportunities.
Yeah. And you know where it really starts when you think of it? It's starting at their mealtime because they're always sitting with someone. At home, they were sitting by themselves, maybe in front of the TV, eating their cereal, yogurt, whatever,
Frozen
scrambled
TV
eggs.
dinner.
That's right. And they were sitting there. But here now they've got 3 other people that they start having conversations with. And the staff there are great. They look at the person, they look at their background, maybe where they live on the same floors, and they match them up. They make sure that it's a good fit. Then all of a sudden, Susie is saying to Sandy, come on down. We're going to the activities, for entertainments tonight or whatever after dinner. So all of a sudden they're bringing them down, and you see the socialization. You see the friendships bonding. And of course, it grows. They make a lot more friends. But it's that initial dinner time or lunch time. It's that social time together.
That's the
When a person first moves in, Jillian, do you do a sort of a buddy system match-up, a kind of a peer thing?
Well, we sit them at the tables and get them with people that know them. We have a wellness coordinator, Beth, to make sure everything is going smoothly, that everything on their move is done right, that they're they need their pictures hung, if they need, that sort of thing. She will introduce them to others that are like-minded. Example, I was just thinking when Sharon was talking of friends that are made, of Alma, who wanted to find a walking club.
Oh, right, right.
And she was saying, I want to have somebody to walk with. Well, somebody over there heard her, and it happened to be a lovely gentleman, and that was Chuck. And so then they started walking together, and they've been walking together ever since.
That's right.
4 years ago.
That's right. Now, Chuck and Alma came and visited us with you on our last program. We're a lovely couple, really nice people, and I love the story. Alma, sort of in the lobby, sort of loudly proclaiming, "Well, where's the walking club? I know there's a walking club. I want to join. I'm a walker."
Yeah.
And so Chuck hears all of this and goes, I'm the walking club.
But noticed he said last time, that was an attractive-looking lady.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because maybe walking wasn't the top of his list of things to do, but suddenly it changed. I wanted to ask you, Sharon, a silly question perhaps, but again, it's about the independence thing, and Jillian talking about people taking off and going for cruises and stuff. When people come in, if they're still mobile and still driving and all of that stuff, can they bring the car? Can they got a parking spot for them? Is that part of the package?
That's right. We have a parking lot, and you can bring your car because, like I said, a lot of them are still out there doing socialization with friends or volunteers or going out for dinners. Yeah. But we also have a great bus and great bus driver who coordinates a lot of trips. So if you don't have a car, that's okay. We're going to get you out too. And who wouldn't want to be on the bus with 18 other friends, right? Yeah. And heading out.
And going for a fun activity to Whistler. You're going to Whistler.
Heading to Whistler tomorrow for the day.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this would also be, if you want to go down and see the Red Rock Diner at the Arts Club, you're going to do an evening at the theater, get a group together and charter the bus and off you go. And so all sorts of possibilities there.
Yeah.
And there, even though you're a very, very organized person, I think you also, and I sense this about you, and I have from the beginning, that spontaneity, there always has to be room for the moment, something that just an event just occurs and you just make a room and include that too.
That's right.
And keep
Sharon's
moving
excellent
forward
with that. Sharon is, Sharon, I've got this or this or this great list, we can put them in here, and it's wonderful, because the ideas come, and Sharon is open to ideas. I mean, having worked with her for over a year now, it's just been absolutely fantastic.
A couple of things I'd like clarified, please. One, a geographical thing. You were talking about a Baptist housing property in Kelowna.
It's Victoria.
That is actually in Victoria.
I was thinking Kelowna. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Just
Mountain View.
Mountain View is underway and soon to be a part of Victoria.
In 2014.
All right,
Yes.
excellent. Just thought I'd let you
Thank
off the hook
you.
gently
Thank
there.
you.
And the other thing was Camp Week. I wanted you to tell us. You're the activities coordinator
Oh, wow.
here, Sharon. And now we've got the party coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
How long ago was Camp Week?
It was the first week of July.
Okay.
So, and we've done it now 7 years. The first year I started, someone else came up with this brilliant idea, so I went with it. So, and the residents won't let me stop every year. I'm thinking I'm getting too old for this, but they aren't. So,
and they're older than you are.
They are older than I am, and it's amazing. So, because we're celebrating our 50 years of Baptist housing, we decided to take the best camp weeks that we've done before and do a whole day of them.
What is a camp week, though?
So a camp is like we're taking the residents to day camp. You know how you send your kids off to day camp because there's in the summer you need to get the kids out.
You see
doing
them all over the city wearing their little colored T-shirts and sun hats.
We have colored T-shirts too.
Oh, fantastic! That's a riot.
So when I go to Michael's and buy all these T-shirts, they're what you need. The seniors, they're loving it.
Okay.
So we take and we do a whole week. So one year we did a whole camp week revolving around Canadian. We did a whole week 1 year on a Mediterranean cruise.
Okay.
We did a school days. We did the Amazing Race. So this year we took Token Day. So we did a whole Canadian day, which led into a noodle hockey
But
tournament.
it was our Canada Day celebration.
Canada
too.
Day, that's
it was
right.
Our Canada Day.
Ah.
So
you managed to find a way to get a hockey game included on
We
Canada Day.
did.
Well, bless your hearts, both of you.
That's right.
Couple of all Canadian girls here, folks. They still, and it was noodle hockey, and that's
Noodle
kind of
hockey.
funny.
Oh, that's
And you
fun.
even had a
You
Mountie
gotta play.
in red serge present the cup to the winning team.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And it was cute because we went, how many people want to play? They know what noodle hockey is, and it gets pretty
I was just going to say,
tiring.
it's an interesting aside here. Not that anybody's having any fun or anything, but there was an actual ejection
That's right.
in the noodle hockey game. I love it. That's great.
Someone was playing too hard, so it was just like, okay, so the RCMP filled in for a bit.
Isn't that funny?
So, but that's the fun of it.
And we had the Minister of Justice there, too.
Oh, is that right?
She played noodle
Yeah.
hockey. She was a great sport.
She came
Susan
by.
Anton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Susan
excellent.
Anton. She was
Okay.
a great
That
sport.
was wonderful.
So all sorts of activities each day, and teams. And did the teams change, or did they remain the same throughout the entire run of the
Well, it
tournament?
depends. Like when we did the Amazing Race, there's specific
Oh,
teams,
sure, of
and
course.
you wear your right colors
Right.
for the right, and you stay on those teams, and it's really cute because you get bonus points for more people showing up. So of course, everyone's running around collecting their team members, and if they have to go to the washroom, they'll let you know because they want to be accounted for. So it's adorable. It's so much fun, and they get so into it. We have a huge percentage of participation during camp week. Now, by the end of day 5, they're exhausted.
Of course, okay.
But that's
We're
okay.
exhausted.
I'll bet you are.
A really neat key point came this, and I just love hearing this. One of the family members came, a daughter came, and she said to me, I just want to thank you, Sharon. Camp weeks, they love it. They're very busy, and they just get so excited about it. But I had to phone my entire family members not to phone Mom during this week because she's busy.
Right.
And that's exactly what happens. And a
Yeah,
few years
that's
ago
true.
during camp week when I did school days, I actually knew of the family, and I met the daughter in a mall one day, and she says, oh, yeah, I tried to phone Mom, have her for dinner. And she says, no, Sharon gave us homework. We got to finish it up.
Okay.
So, it's neat. They're excited about it. So.
Listening to this description of one simple week of activities that Sharon organizes. This is representative of every week in many, many ways. And you listen to the description and the laughter and the fun and the teamwork and the play. And then you contrast that with someone who's sitting there going, oh, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, I'm kind of thinking about it, but I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And that person is going to eventually make it over there, and they're going to say, probably within their first few weeks, geez, if I'd have known it was this much fun, I would have moved here 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Well,
And my
here's-
question to them would be, when a person says, I'm not ready yet,
And you hear that a fair bit.
I do. I say, can you describe to me what ready looks like? And that, and they have an image of maybe having to be in the hospital.
Oh,
and that's when
my.
and that's not independent living.
No, it's not.
So don't wait for move from your house to the hospital or the house to residential care. Come to independent living and just have a wonderful life.
Need to take a quick break here. Now, the website has changed. Last time you were here, Jillian, we were still using BaptistHousing.org, which is the umbrella site for all of the communities across British
Exactly.
Columbia. But you were transitioning, and that
Yes.
transition is now complete. So anyone now wanting to find out anything about Shannon Oaks just goes to ShannonOaks.com.
That's right. That's right. www.ShannonOaks.com, and you're there.
All right, and all the information, including Jillian and Sharon, and all the contact points, and there's even a little blurb about the party at ShannonOaks.com. We're back with more right after this quick timeout.
It's all about the baby boomer lifestyle. Boomer Life on AM 650.